iRacing series, also brought to you by Subbies. We are here at Talladega and we are watching a battle for the lead right now. You can see we've got Kyle Holden, 95, leading us around. This is your first lap of 45 tonight here at the original Talladega Raceway. Talladega is a 2.66 mile track. We'll be running around here for 45 laps tonight. Drivers already after a week off. Glad for everybody that was able to tune back. So exciting racing. Looks like Holden is running the outside line. Brian Lorenzo trying to bring up the inside line. See, 2 by 2, we've got 20 drivers currently on the track, 21 working. Tonight's starting grid. Looks like 21 of Ian Ogden drifted up a little bit. Might have gotten into Tour for Baltimore, but looks like he keeps it off of them. Lorenzo currently wins the inside line. The inside line's got a little bit of an advantage with Lorenzo and Craig Janzik lined up on the inside. You've also got Dan Oliver lined up behind them. And lined up on the outside line is Holden. I believe that is the 55 of James Harrison on the outside. We are seeing 3 wide now down the backstretch as they work their way back into turn number 3. The first Talladega Raceway. As 3 wide, you can see 2 rows of 3 wide. First, Lorenzo's the first one running on the inside. You've got Holden on his outside. Excuse me, Holden's falling back. That is the 55 of James Harris taking actually on the outside. Now looks like they're starting to sort themselves back out 2 wide. But we still got a couple rows of 3 wide behind. So that is Holden that was freight train to the outside, as well as the 15 of Joe Gregory on the outside. Quickly working up against the outside retaining wall. Looks like they are choosing to fall back. So we got back to 2 distinct lines here. We got the inside line with about 5 cars lined up, nose to tail. Gap, more cars behind them, and then we got an outside group that has about 6 cars lined up, nose to tail. Looks like to Janzik giving a big push to the 77 Lorenzo as they work their way back into the tri-oval. Remember that the difference between Talladega here not only is the increased length compared to Daytona, as well as the increased banking, 36 degrees to 33 degrees, but the start finish line is after drivers exit out of the tri-oval. So, driver maybe passing somebody for the traditional spot out for a lap in Daytona, but Talladega with that extra length can go a different direction. So we also see this Speedway taking the spacer package, brings this pack formation, these draft battles. See if that also creates any cautions. Once wreck happens, it can be very tough for drivers to avoid. You can see Janzik was able to Lorenzo jumped to the outside line. So Janzik now leading with Tyler Meeks directly behind him. 29 of William Mann Jr. is also lined up on the inside, and then behind them you have the 12 machine of Kevin Ford. Outside, what's in the middle of the track, the outside line, you have Janzik. That is Dan Oliver behind him. That is the 57 of William Mann. Excuse me, it's the 81 of Carlos. See Lorenzo goes all the way up to the high side. James Harris there taking the spot. So Lorenzo maybe choosing the choice to run back. We're also looking at potentially getting shuffled out, but we'll see where the lines up. As you can see, continues to fall back. Here up in front, so it's still side by side now. So in front looks like Dan Oliver's there on the outside lane. Janzik still uncomfortable with that inside. Oliver really going to push from the 81 of Harley Valletta are sporting copper kind of in this car today. The sporty paint scheme. Looks like Dan Oliver is going to dive down to the low side in front of Greg Janzik. James Harris also follows him down, and we've got our first caution out. Let's see, looks like Ian Ogden might have a problem. Might have also had a problem, so we'll see if we can get you a replay here relatively soon. But we are quickly working our first caution for the evening tonight. Let's take a look here. See if this was from the 16 of Robert Wynn. See the 25, that is Chris Sawyer in front of him. Louisiana Hot Sauce. Camaro. Oh, looks like that was the 21 of Ian Ogden that had already spun. So let's see if we can pull up what happened to Ian Ogden. That's looking like what brought out the caution flag. Let's see if we can pull that up for you. Just a minute. All right, so Ogden gets touched. That was the 39 of Cam Anderson that kind of drifts up, gets into him. It's going to get Ogden loose. You see the damage he has, and he starts coming back down the track, trying to correct it. He's right in front of Brian Lorenzo, finally loses it. Gets that car completely sideways. You see Lorenzo also getting in the 57 of William Mann going down the track. So Ogden's sliding. The 6 of Austin Hable barely gets by the 15. Joe Gregory barely gets by. Unfortunately, Robert Wynn just with nowhere to go, no way to avoid that one. So that's what brings out our first caution, and we are going to get back to the action as pit stops are being completed. Again, working our first caution. We are here on lap number 9 tonight. It's like almost everybody came in for first service. The front 5 of Dan Oliver, Harley Valletta, Kyle Holden, Kevin Warren, and Justin Gainham not taking any service. So see if that plays a factor at all. Again, I want to give a shout out to the fans that are tuned in that are lending their support to the drivers tonight. Got one lending their support for Dan Oliver, and another one lending their support for Brian Lorenzo. Glad to see you all tuned in. We appreciate you turning in every week for Crazy Dog T-shirts, iRacing series, also presented by Subbies. You're a new sponsor on board. We are glad to have them here for the league. Caution laps here at Virtual Talladega. It's going to take a little bit of time how long this track is. We'll see if drivers get the one to go the next time by. Apologize for the technical issues that happened at the start of tonight's broadcast. Hopefully we should be good to go without any more glitches. Try to bring you all of the action that I can. Not appear that too much happened on lap 1. No real contact or anything again as we're working the first caution, so try to, if I notice anything looking back, I will try to get you guys caught up as quickly as I can. But looks like drivers are going to be getting gridded up 2 by 2 to go back to green flag conditions. We've got 18 cars on the track. Looks like a couple more have come out of pit road. Robert Wynn may now be our only driver scored out of the race, although it looks like he's back out as well. So all 21 drivers should be returning back on the track. All 21 drivers are on the lead lap, so as long as you don't have too much damage, fast repair available. Some of the drivers involved in that could have used it this early. As long as you're connected to a pack that is not too far back from the leaders, you can easily draft your way back up to the front. So certainly anybody in the pack, while they may be disappointed to have had that happen, they're certainly not out of this by any means. Top 5 when they go back to green are going to be the 83 of Dan Oliver on the inside, 81 of Harley Valletta is going to be behind him, 55 of James Harris is going to be, 95 of Kyle Holden is going to be restarting third. 112 of Kevin Ward is going to be restarting in fourth, and 69 of Justin Gainham is going to be restarting in fifth place on the inside of row number 3 when we go back to green flag conditions. Scott Master Disaster lending his support to both Justin Gainham but also Cam Anderson. So he's got 2 horses he's pulling for in this. Both of them still look like they have a fighting shot. Pulls off. Appreciate you tuning in. Pace car pulls off. Get ready for drivers to work their way into the Geico start zone. See it there, indicated by the blue box on the wall. See when they are off and rolling. There it is. And they are back under green flag. Dan Oliver's going to be leading down across the start and finish line. Holden following directly behind him, trying to get as close as he can to the back bumper. Looks like Harley Valletta on the outside did not get a good start of the race. Waiting to try to get the O2 of Janzik to catch up to him. He cuts down right in front of Gainham, though, so he's in the ball line behind him as well. Kevin Ward, Sean's Ward up to the 3rd spot. Got Crench Janzik trying to lead the outside line. He's going to have a couple more drivers work their way up there. Rocketing back into turn number 3. All the way through. A little bit more of a zoomed in shot here. Basically pushed by Kyle Holden as they work their way back across the tri-oval. Trent Janzik being pushed by Tyler Nix on the outside, really getting a big run. Janzik's going to take the advantage as they work their way back into turn number 1. Quickly on the outside of them, though, is the 64 of Brett Murphy, With side by side for 4 rows, Brett Murphy and Lorenzo running the extreme outside line. Oh, and Tyler Meeks might have got turned off the bumper of Harris. Jansen gets turned, Oliver gets turned. We've got big crash. Oh, there comes the 57 of William Mann. Big wreck developing there off of turn 2 into the backstretch. Lots of cars getting involved. Quickly brings out our 2nd caution of the night. This is going to be a big one to untangle. This is going to take a little while to get you all the drivers involved in this one, as well as what exactly happened. Wow, that was started, I believe, by Tyler Meeks getting turned, and that just blossomed into quite a bit more. That was certainly, to say the least, not ideal. Let's see if we can get that replay dialed up here for you momentarily. Alright, we're going to give this a moment and we're going to try to see if we can get something out of this. Hope to see it. I believe Kyle Holden might have been the first one to be involved in this. Let's see if this is already developed. So you see Holden's there, the 3rd car on the outside line. as they were working their way off to turn 2. Brett Murphy and Brian Lorenzo are the two that are trying to run outside. Janzik's running there right in front. Looks like Meeks might have gotten turned by Holden, which sent him all the way down. Or Meeks might have gotten turned by James Harris, sent him down into Holden. So that's sending Meeks or Holden all the way to the bottom. You see Meeks also getting there. Looks like Kevin Ward was in that. Harris was in that. Justin Gainham was in that. I want to see if we can get a little bit better view of what happened to the main pack. Tyler Meeks is going to be the better one to see in the middle of it. Again, this is, look at it from reverse. You'll see the same shot, but then it'll come back up. We should see. I think James Harris looks like he makes a little bit of contact with Meeks, sends Meeks across the track into Holden. In that point, turns Dan Oliver, which then that turns Craig Janzik. Let's see if we can take a look. We'll go back a little bit sooner. You can see Janzik getting turned there. Ooh, Harley Belletta getting turned. Dan Oliver getting turned. Let's see if we can find a better view of Dan Oliver in this instance. Let's see. This is all back, so we'll rewind this slightly. Let's see if we can get back here and see what happened to. All right, so we're looking at Dan Oliver in this. Dan Oliver is going to get into Craig Janzik. Barely touch. Oh, he sends Brent Murphy up quite a bit. That was actually a bit more than I thought it was. Lorenzo was pushing Murphy from behind. Harley Belletta gets turned into that. I believe that was the 73 to Topher Baltimore getting turned there. A lot of guys trying to scatter. As you see a bunch of cars spinning all over on the backstretch. A couple cars narrowly missing Dan Oliver as they come back up as well. Looks like somebody smacked the outside wall almost going into turn 3. So that's a pretty big wreck for sure. It's going to shuffle a lot of people to the back. And a lot of people probably using their fast repairs far earlier than they wanted to. So get you caught up here. This last round of pit stops, we had 3 drivers electing to stay out. Kevin Ward is your leader, has not come in yet this race. Cam Anderson and Austin Habel came in under the first caution. They elected to stay out as well, so that leaves Ward, Anderson, and Habel as your top 3. Harley Belletta is 4th. Craig Janzik is 5th. Looks like we got a couple more drivers coming in. Not quite. I thought they were going to be coming down in, but looks like they were just diving low. So we'll see when we get the 1 to go. So Anderson, Harley Belletta both come and they peel off. So now that's just going to leave Kevin Ward and Austin Habel as your 2 that have not pitted under this caution. A whole rash of drivers coming in as well. So we'll try to get this sorted out as best as we can. Give them a moment to go through the service. We still get 1 to go, so it'll be sorting some guys in the back as we've got a whole host of drivers still on there. I think some of them were already using their fast repairs under the first caution and are now trying to get damage repaired that they can before falling a lap down. So try to sort out the top 5 as best I can for you. Kevin Ward's going to be your leader. Brian Lorenzo is going to be restarting outside of him in 2nd. Behind him is going to be the O2 of Craig Janzik. 35 of Tyler Meeks is going to be 4th, and we have 15 of Joe Gregory in 5th on the inside over 3. Inside him, it's also worth noting that 29 of William Van Jr. is restarting 6th. He's up 12 spots, tied with both Charles Whitehead and Kevin Ward as your current hard chargers. Most positions gained from where they started tonight. Drivers work their way down the backstretch. pace car is going to be pulling off here. Driver's going to be getting ready to go. You see the pace car diving low. Can't get more than looks like he's got a little bit of damage in the front, so we'll see if that slows him down now that he's going to be out in clean air. He's still able to hold on to that lead once we get the green flag as they approach the guide code restart zone. Jumps right at the beginning of it, still legal. Drivers now are required to start anywhere within that little box or once the flagman displays the green flag. We are back underway here just after the 1/3 mark for the lap 65. Kevin Ward getting a big push from Craig Janzik to the inside. Lorenzo getting a push from way down into the backstretch. Janzik's going to go by him on the outside. We have Brian Lorenzo back in the lead. Tyler Means also diving down in Craig Janzik. Or excuse me, that was actually the 29 of William Jr. Craig Janzik quickly dives out from Man. This is outside. We see James Harris trying to come up with Janzik pushing to the front. We have the 15 of Joe Gregory trying to line up. He's the fourth car on the inside line, trying to catch up with the back. William Mann Jr. Harris and Jansen are quickly trying to build the momentum up. Toyota Supras on the outside. With Lorenzo as they work their way back down the backstretch, we've got two distinct lines. Almost about an even amount of field both on the high side and the low side. Jansen gets a push. He's going to pull him down in front of Brian Lorenzo. Puts himself. James Harris is going to be now commanding that outside line. He's got Kyle Holden lined up right behind him, and then the 8 lined up behind them. On the inside, you've got Janzik, Lorenzo, Weeks, and Jr. Inside for Brett Murphy there in the middle. Also, Hunt Zachary in front. Murphy, we know, is no stranger to going 3 wide. Picks up a couple spots, lost themselves right behind on the outside line. Zachary Thornton lines up behind William Mann Jr. Back to some lines of racing here as they approach their way back into turn number 3. It's at the 25 of Chris Sawyer. Let's take the very high side, 3 and 4. See if he gets shuffled back, if he's able to find his way back in line. Momentary connection issues with iRacing, so right up the middle, some drivers get shifted to the outside. That is the 55 of James Harris getting shuffled out the alley behind him. So Janzik, Meeks, William Mann Jr., your 3, the inside line. Lorenzo, Kyle Holden, Carly Valletta, James Harris, Brett Murphy are on the outside. Oliver running 3 wide, but quickly getting shuffled to the back. Still not even have plenty of time for him to work his way back into the field, bring himself back into the lead contention. Drivers continue to work their way back. Front stretch again, thank you all the fans that are tuning in. Drivers appreciate their support. Driver clockers hold up at the same time. We'll be going back and watching this afterwards. You got James Harris working the extreme outside. Looks like Zachary Thornton moves the outside line, trying to get behind Brett Murphy. Murphy is pushing the 81 of Harley Valletta. On the inside, you still have Janzik lined up as your front 4 on the inside row. Both rows are getting some good runs. The outside line just doesn't seem to be able to form a consistent enough. Drivers want to take advantage of runs and try to pass each other rather than staying grouped and trying to work their way past the inside line. The more cars you have lined up uniformly, working together faster than that overall line can go. So that's why that inside line seems to be having a little bit more benefit, because more drivers lined up consistently. It's allowed them with a little bit more momentum. It's their outside line kind of taking turns. making a run, making a shuffle back, making a run and shuffling back is Holly Valletta currently is the one on the high side. Lap number 21, so we've got just 25 to go here. We still have 18 drivers scored on the track. Kevin Ward has pulled off. It's your first car scored lap down. Ian Ogden in the 21 and the 57 William Mann are your two casualties so far tonight's race. Chance of getting still got a shot from Brian Lorenzo from behind, or if he just got a little wiggly there entering into the trial. Been a scary moment for Lorenzo there. See Meeks lined up on the outside with Brett Murphy pushing him to the Chris Sawyer 25, but it was the fourth car on the outside. So just outside of Sawyer, you have the 55 and James Harris. Valletta trying to venture up there to link up with Harris, see if they can push themselves back. Janzik in a fairly commanding position though as Speedway racing goes. Now you see Chris Sawyer get sorted out. James Harris dive back down to that. Try to tighten up to the back of Zachary Thornton in the $135 General Speedway. Looks like Thornton now takes the opportunity to dive down behind. And Junior Lorenzo jumps up out in front of Meeks on the outside rows. Goes side by side with Jansen across the start and finish line. They're working their way onto lap number 20. Trying to get a push. You can see some drivers with some rear end damage, so certainly damage is not a massive factor in the back end here. As long as the spoiler's not pushed too far up, the front end is what is critical. Drivers in the air efficiently, especially in the draft. We've seen some comers and goers quickly since this last start. Front working their way to the back and then moving back to the front again. Janzik has been inconsistent leader on that inside race. Leaded by Kevin Ward and has been out in that position since. Lorenzo in 77 runs really. I think these two are trading laps led each time. Oh, we got contact with Joe Gregory. That's going to bring out the caution. That's going to be our third for tonight's race. And we got more wrecking under caution. It's like Brett Murphy in 64 gets into it. Let's see who that was. I believe that was the 73 of Topher Baltimore. First, spinning in the back. So two separate crashes. One bringing out the caution flag. The other one, I'm not sure what exactly happened. We'll definitely have to check out the replay for that one. Grab that replay of what happened to Cam Anderson. We're gonna see here is you got Cam Anderson diving to the bottom. This looks like he was just trying to make a lane change that he was never gonna be able to make. Just drives right into the right rear of Joe Gregory. Kind of turned Gregory up the track, sends those two into the outside retaining wall. You can see Gregory spinning around off the nose of Cam Anderson. Anderson losing that whole front bumper, so it's going to be a long rest of the race for him if he has not used his fast repair. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened there because that was never a spot that there was going to be a hole open. I don't know if he got loose coming into the corner, which really doesn't seem like it should happen, but not being inside the car, it's kind of hard to tell. We'll see if we can get another view in a little bit, see if we can try to look at his hands, what might have happened. But let's also take a look at what happened to Topher Baltimore, and I believe again that was Brett Murphy. It's also happening once they're under caution. So okay, so it looks like Man Jr. might have come up a bit into Topher Baltimore. Just sent Topher Baltimore around. He got into the back of Brett Murphy, sent him around, and unfortunately also got into the side of Dan Oliver. Looks like the 6 of Austin Hable's going sliding up the track, drilling the outside retaining wall in turn 2 pretty hard as well. Gainham looks like he was able to avoid it. The 51 of Charles Whitehead also able to avoid that. So caution was out at the point. I'm not sure why the drivers didn't slow down a little bit more. That seems like that might have been a momentary lapse in judgment, but See, while drivers are on pit road, if we can get you a view from inside of what happened with Cam Anderson. We'll look at that from the inside if we can see it. I just want to see if he actually had an issue. So you can see the steering wheel. At this point in time, he's still just turning down. So if he had an issue, looks like it happened after. But you can see, I don't know if he thought he could just slide in behind the 15 from his view, or if he was being maybe fed wrong information by the spotter. It just definitely looks like that was just a momentary lapse in judgment there. Like he just was not able to tell that gap was not quite there and he wasn't going to fit that. So we'll get you back up to the front. And drivers are all working their way out of pit row. We are working our third caution here, which is 25 laps left to go. Looks like this time Robert Wynn, your driver so far that did not come in under this caution. The caution we've had at least one driver that has chosen not to come in. Typically tires don't matter quite as much here as other tracks, but they do, depending on how many laps, especially with this run we had, they can give you a little bit more of a confidence to navigate the car from a high lane to a low lane, vice versa, be able to make some of those aggressive moves that you see these drivers make quickly, and give you the grip to be able to execute that without having any kind of unbalance in the car that could cause you to potentially wreck. So drivers like Robert Wynn, some others trying to see if staying out front in the lead can A, help them avoid these wrecks, but B, also give them a shot to hold on to that lead, potentially come away with an unexpected win. And other drivers taking advantage of the unlimited tire sets in this, so see how that works out. See if the drivers are going to get the one to go this time by. They'll get graded back up. We'll get you your top 5 rundown. So it looks like it's going to be the 16 of Robert Wynn, 77 of Brian Lorenzo, 95 of Kyle Holden. Outside of him is going to be the 55 of James Harris working his way back up, and the 81 of Harley Valletta restarting in 5th on the inside of row number 3 once we get the green flag. We are getting the one to go, so we'll be going back to green flag racing with 18 laps to go. Fans lending their support to Brian Lorenzo. We know he's so close to that lead again, running there in the second spot. We'll see if he can try to get a good restart, take advantage of Robert Wynn not having as fresh tires. It's been a mainstay at the front of the field this entire inaugural season for the Crazy Dog T-shirts and iRacing series. Also presented by Silvies. Drivers are working their way back through turn number 3. There's just a couple more corners and we will be cutting these drivers back loose again. Approaching the final third of the race here in a few laps as well. Momentarily. Looks like he is out of the way. We are going to see and Robert Wynn elects to restart this field as he approaches the Geico restart zone. And he's off and rolling. We are back under green flag. As soon as they cross the line, we'll have 18 to go. He gets a big jump out in front of the 95 of Kyle Holden, also breaking away. So Harris and Lorenzo linked up on the outside. Tail trying trying to close down the gap to Robert Wynn. You also see Harley Valletta, Charles Whitehead, Brett Murphy on the inside of the track. Holden jumps to the outside, tries to take advantage. Robert Wynn just pulled down to the bottom, letting everybody go by. So wide is going down the front stretches. Lorenzo's working the outside, Kyle Holden working the middle, and Harley Valletta working the inside row. See if Lorenzo falls back since he has no drafting help. Harley Valletta grabs the lead with Charles Whitehead, Brett Murphy, Justin Gainham, Cam Anderson lined up behind him on the inside row. Holden's got help from Harris on the outside. Lorenzo in the slot in front of Jancic. Or excuse me, that's Robert Wynn Jr. on the outside. Meeks and Jancic lined up behind them. And you see Dan Oliver back on the inside row at the back. Austin Hable there also there. Push from James Harris is going to put himself momentarily out into the lead. Jancic links up, so we got a three-car push on the outside. Three-car push on the inside row. Valletta, Whitehead, and Murphy. See if those three can create a little more momentum. Time has about a car advantage. He's going to quickly pull down in front of Harley Valletta. Bandon, but that was James Harris, excuse me. James Harris bandits the outside. Trying to take it from the inside. Holden still getting a shove from Ryan Lorenzo, Robert Wynn. William Van Jr. pulling up on the outside. Meeks Jansen following behind them. Harris, Barletta, Whitehead, Murphy, inside drivers across the line with 16 laps to go. That's a good 10 rows deep that we have. 10 rows deep. Almost the entire field is within. All the cars on the track, 18 cars on the track are within 1 second. That's some tight racing. Tight racing. You see Van Jr. on the outside of Dan Oliver's trying to go up there, so give him some assistance. Van Jr. slides in behind Jansen. Right here in the front now. Lorenzo all the way to the bottom. Holden in the middle. Meeks and Barletta on the outside. Jansen pushing Holden. Harris pushing Lorenzo. Meeks pushing Barletta on the outside. Now we go 3 wide. We got 3 to 4 rows of 3 wide now. Quickly go from 2 organized lines to almost 3 organized lines. Just kind of 1 lap. Things can change here so quickly at Talladega. Chris Sawyer trying to insert himself. He's in the 25 section. We see him there right behind Zachary Thornton, who's back up in the mix. He's running the outside of the line. 3 wide momentarily disperses, but Sawyer picks up Barletta on the extreme outside line. Meeks is also up there. See if they cut down in this gap behind Thornton to stay high. Jansen's pulled down in front of Lorenzo, put himself back into the lead. He's getting shoved by James Harris. On the outside is Holden and Thornton. A little bit of a gap back to Sawyer, Barletta, Meeks, and Oliver there. Cars outside is 6 of Austin Hable right now in the THL. Jansen back out in front with control of the field. Justin Gainham trying to sort his way in front. Brett Murphy right behind Van Jr. on the side row. So we've got pretty much 2 rows now organized. Back again. 4 cars on that inside row. A little bit of a gap between the front row and the inside, although as I say that, he starts to close that gap back up. He's going up to the back bumper. Charles Whitehead. Jansen, Lorenzo, Harris, Whitehead, Meeks are inside 5, outside 5 is Holden, Thornton, Sawyer, Hable, Barletta, and Dan Oliver. We have still got 8 drivers within the second and a half. Your front 10 are only 4/10 of a second apart. Very close. Looks like Sawyer's trying that extreme outside line again. Sure if he's electing to get out of this pack and drop back, or if he's trying to side draft a little bit to see. Stall out that run, get by a driver, move up a spot or 2. When I say side drafting, really not speak too much about the drafting here. Side drafting is where the driver will try to pull down to speedways done on the right-hand side of the car. Try to pull down right next to that car, almost touching side by side. What it does is it kind of acts like it pulls the car legs to the inside back. Rather than picking up speed, it just kind of stops the other car, and you can actually get in front of them. A lot of times, this is how racing drivers actually kind of work their way to the outside, try to get alongside of something, stall them out. So that's something you may see from time to time, especially here as we approach 10 laps to go. We're back to Kyle Holden now grabbing the lead. He's on the inside. Jansen abandoned Zachary Thornton. Thornton's on the outside, leading Barletta, Oliver, Harris, and Junior. Lorenzo's trying to catch back up to the back. Jansen pushes that inside road forward. Go back through the try over here on the front stretch. Meeks trying to push Charles Whitehead back to the Brian Lorenzo as well. So we ended up 5-car group on the inside. Looks like Thornton gets a good run up the nose, and Barletta dives down in front of Kyle Holden. Put him out to the lead. Put Barletta leading the outside road. Barletta, Oliver, Harris, and Junior, and that is Austin Abel in there. Those blinkers are definitely scary for anybody that's trying to draft one of these drivers, because you don't know where he's going to pop up or where it could be. Looks like we got Kevin Ward having a down off of the racing service on the apron, came back up just before turn number 3, but he's sort of back a little bit. Zachary Thornton gets 3 laps for the first time. He's up 15 spots, started 16th, and he finds himself getting a good push from Kyle Hogan as they work their way through the triover across the start-finish line. Jansen moves to the high side. He's going to go in front of Harley Barletta. It's Lorenzo and Whitehead. So we've got Janzik, Barletta, Oliver, Meeks, Harris on the outside. Inside is Thornton, Holden, Lorenzo, Whitehead. That's still Austin Abel. Gainham's trying to get there. Gainham kind of forces Chris Sawyer down the track. See that from the rear view. Sawyer had to take evasive action, dive below that yellow line to avoid wrecking. Racing back onto the track does not cause caution. Side by side with Janzik through the trioval. We'll see which driver is able to come across the line first. Might have just had an edge, but it's ever so close, which is 9 laps to go. Trying to put themselves in a position where it's getting most beneficial to make that late race move. Try to get win out of tonight. More fans in the chat. I need their support. Appreciate everybody tuning in again. Got great battles up here. Say these super speedways can be kind of wild card events. Anybody who's hard to easily win here. We ever seen that? We just had a mix of drivers working from the front to the back to the front. All sorts of names up in the front. Still going on the inside line, getting the shove from the 95. Kyle Holden with Lorenzo right in front of him. Chance of getting the shove off. Barletta jumps down in front of Thornton, so that puts him to the lead. Barletta's leading Oliver, Harris, and Junior. Anderson leads on the outside. See Brett Murphy trying to get what's up with that outside. 7 cars as well. They work their way back into turn number 3 with just 8 laps to go. Janzik leading Thornton. Holden, Randy, Whitehead on the inside. A bit less organized behind this front 8 or so. A bit tougher for those guys to get all the way to the front, but you see Holden dives out to the outside in front of Barletta. Janzik quickly making a block to try to catch that lane, catch some momentum, get back by Thornton. Not let Holden take over. Thornton's committed to the bottom side. He's getting a good shove from Brian Lorenzo. Yeah, Lorenzo and Whitehead. Let's see if Whitehead gets a big run, closes up on him. Looks like he does. Outside, you've got Janzik being pushed by Holden. Holden being pushed by Barletta. James Harris doing pushing there on the inside. He's going to die in the middle, as you saw. dive down to the middle with Janzik. Lorenzo actually jumped there. Harris looked like he was going to momentarily hang with that. It's going to be Lorenzo in the middle. He may be headed back if nobody jumps in to help him. You see, it looks like Harris dives down to pick him up. So we've got 3 wide in the middle of this. Janzik leading Holden, Thornton, Whitehead on the inside. Lorenzo, Harris in the middle, and Barletta, Meeks, Anderson, and Oliver on the outside. Murphy looks like he's trying to suck up to the middle. Almost makes contact with 39 of Hammerson. We've actually got 4 wide momentarily. Like, even off of turn 2. Oh, the backstretch. We are 4 wide. Driver's kind of sorting that out. It's Joe Gregory getting sorted. Shifted out there. Yeah, the 15 crazy dog machine. Looks like Thornton might have blinked out. Let's see if we can get back here. I apologize for that. Back to of Janzik on the high side. Janzik, Holden, Whitehead, Van Jr. on the inside. Oh, just as I say that, Janzik jumps up in front of Lorenzo to try to block a run on the outside. He had James Harris pushing. Back to the right again as we work our way through turn number 1. Gives Kyle Holden the lead now. He's just in front of Charles Whitehead. Charles Whitehead is now your new hard charger. Is he gained? Oh, big wreck on the backstretch. Lots of cars involved. Big cars flipping. That's our 5th caution here with just 5 laps to go. We'll get a replay of that. I just saw somebody spinning down off the wall. Lots of drivers involved in that one. We're going to be set up for an exciting finish here, but we are definitely going to get you a replay there of what happened. That was a quick turn that had all the signs of somebody getting a push gone wrong and being sent off the nose of someone. Master Disaster saying, no fear, boys, no fear. There was certainly no fear with that caution. No fear with that. Full replay. That's what happened. Probably Barletta looks like he may have been the one that got turned initially. Let's see here. I think it might have actually happened a bit in front of him. I thought I saw Anderson and the 39 Mountain Dew going around first. So Lorenzo's running on the high side. He's getting shuffled out. Let's see if we can get a view of what happens. So we're gonna watch this from behind. Looks like Anderson actually tried to turn up in front of Lorenzo, get in front of him and get the run. Was not quite clear. Clipped the right-hand side. So you see Lorenzo come off the wall. He gets Dan Oliver. Tyler Meeks is going around. Lorenzo's flipping around. Ward's involved in that. Barletta's involved in that. Gainham's involved in that. They all smack the inside wall. Oh, Barletta goes flipping up in the air, pirouetting through the air. You see that motor blowing up in the middle of the air, catching that retaining fence, landing on top of the safer barrier. Wow, that was actually kind of lands on the back of Justin Gainham as well coming down. Certainly a spectacular wreck there. See what happens to Lorenzo out of this as well. It'll give us a view, I think, of the rest of the wreck that happened on the high side. So again, you're going to see, keep that green and white car. He pulls to the right, runs right off the left front of Lorenzo. That turns both of them. They hit the outside wall. So that's how Dan Oliver got turned, and that's what starts the chain reaction coming down. But you see Lorenzo getting turned off the nose of Kevin Ward. Kevin Ward, and I believe that's Joe Gregory, are going down to the inside row. Yeah, that's the 2 of them going down there. Lorenzo spinning. It's where Meeks is barrel rolling as well. Well, Barletta was flipping. Lorenzo's just sliding out of control. He's got the brakes locked down, trying to save it, but he's going to get into the outs or the inside retaining wall, catching it in the middle of the backstretch. Wow, that was definitely a big game changer there late in the race, and certainly probably the most spectacular wreck we've seen. I don't know if that's necessarily involved the most number of cars tonight, but that was certainly probably the most spectacular wreck we've seen. Both Barletta and I believe that was Tyler Meeks flipping up in the air. I'll give those 2 10 for style points. Don't know if I'll give them a 10 for sticking the landing, but certainly a 10 for style points. See if they can. I believe this should be going green white checker. We're going to be headed to overtime running more than the scheduled distance. We'll see what happens with pace car. comes across the line. Kind of resort this for you. Your current leader is the 95 of Kyle Holden, Jancic in the 02 in second, Charles Whitehead in third, James Harris in fourth, and Whiteman Jr. finds himself in fifth place. Looks like the top 9 all electing to stay out, not pit. 10th place, Justin Gano, the first one to come in, but I believe that was everybody that was involved in that wreck. I don't think Chris Sawyer, Robert Wynn sustained any damage out of that, and he just elected to come in. But everybody in the front half of the field, basically, that was on the lead lap staying out. Back half all coming in, but most of the back half was involved in that wreck in some form or fashion. Looks like we are going to get P1 to go. This race will be headed into overtime. It's the first one we've had of this year. So what's going to happen is the drivers are going to get a green flag next time by. They will then run a full lap and get the white flag. If a caution comes out at any point during that white flag period, the race will be over at its conclusion at that. Get the green flag. I'm not 100% sure in this league if they will be doing multiple attempts of this or if they will be doing just one attempt. But either way, first lap's going to be a bit of jockeying for position, but it's also going to be a bit tough. The drivers are going to try to work their way up to speed. It typically takes almost a full lap for the drivers to get their cars up to the top speeds that we will see. But you're still going to have quite a bit of action in the first lap. Gets the white flag lap, it's old hard, every man for himself. Everybody's going to be going everywhere to finish this out. Very, very interested to see how this race finishes. Again, to recap your top 5, you've got Holden restarting in first on the inside. Outside him is going to be the 02 of Jancic. 51 of Charles Whitehead. Restarting in third, James Harris, and the 55. Celtics joined the Super Bowl restarting. And behind them in fifth place is going to be the 29 of Whiteman Jr. See if Charles Whitehead can hold on to that third place, maybe sneak out a win, possibly be that wild card win that nobody saw coming. Either way, it'll be a career day for him if he's able to keep it there inside the top 5. The Crazy Dog t-shirts. iRacing series. Xfinity Series League. We're going to get ready to go. Pace car pulling off. Let's see, this is the final restart for tonight's event. It's going to be working their way approaching the Geico restart zone. Enters the restart zone. And he's on the gas. We are back rolling here. We're going to have just 2 laps to go. It's a run for Whitehead. James Harris is going to try to keep himself close to the 02 of Fred Jancic, try to get him as best as finish as possible, so try to put himself at least front 3. You've got Holden, Whitehead, Man Jr. on the inside, outside is Jancic, Harris, Austin Abel trying to insert himself. His front 6 is broken away from the rest of the field slightly. Abel trying to push on the outside. They've also got Lorenzo lined up behind them as well. Quickly catch back up. Thornton jumps up to the outside. Jancic gets the shove off. Harris jumps down into the inside in front of Kyle Holden. Quickly takes control. Back out of turn number 4 onto the front stretch. Harris is going to get shoved from Austin Halo. 51 Charles Whitehead lined up. The third car on the inside road. Man Jr. lined up behind him. Lorenzo and Corletta lined up behind Halo. We get the white flag, so that flag is going to end it. Looks like Halo His drivers are not worried about anything, though, as we are on the last lap. He drives up to the outside of Chris Sawyer, so 3 rows back there, but looks like the front 3 are trying to fight away. Lined up there on the inside, that is Jancic, Holden and Whitehead. We get 3 wide going into turn number 3. Harris getting pushed by Lorenzo. Pushed by Valletta on the middle row. Jancic controlling this race right now, though. Holden's doing a great job pushing. We'll see if Holden tries to tag to the inside. He's really got nowhere to go. Harris turning his outside. Lorenzo making a big run on the front. Oh, Barletta gets turned. We got a big wreck. That was Whitehead going barrel rolling, spinning your front four. I believe James Harris sneaks away with the lead. Looks like Jancic finishes second. Lorenzo finishes third. We're going to grab a replay while we let these drivers sort that out. Get confirmation that that is your final order. Again, James Harris was able to sneak away with that win on the outside with the push from Brian Lorenzo. Just getting by Craig Jancic. William Mann, or Charles Whitehead getting sent for a just absolutely insane wreck there. Let's see if we can find that for you. Alright, so this was happening a little bit behind. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer for you. Let's see if this gets us better to the moment. Alright, so they're going to be working their way out of turn 4 here. You see, keep in mind on that purple and bluish car, or greenish car, blue-green, on the inside, the 51, just ahead of the 29, that's Charles Whitehead. It's the car we're going to be focused on here. He's going to come down in front. Looks like, let's see, because we saw Harley Barletta going around first, but Whitehead took the biggest hit. So Whitehead's going to be right on that yellow line trying to defend. Ooh, looks like Barletta might got loose on his own or got turned off of the 15 of Gregory. Came down, clipped Whitehead. Watch Whitehead just, oh, he spins right into the windshield of Austin Hable. Has nowhere to go. Gainham gets turned out of this. Barletta's turned. Sawyer's turned. Gregory's turned. Mann Jr.'s in the 64. Brett Murphy's in it. Looks like, I believe that was the 16 of Robert Wynn sneaking his way through. So that's actually going to get him a 6th place finish tonight. See if we can get 3 drivers in here. Looks like everybody's cooled down, so we're going to see if we can get your 3 finishers up front. That was just a crazy wreck to watch. Got with me our 3rd place finisher of tonight's event, Brian Lorenzo. Brian, we saw what happens all the time at Talladega, wreck right there across the tri-oval coming to the finish line. Tell me what you saw, if anything, out your either front windshield or rearview mirror for that wreck.
I lost my sponsor buddy, Harley. He gave us a huge push, and unfortunately, I think he got tagged from the rear, and it spun him.
Yeah, it definitely looked like I don't know if he got tagged or if it was just coming across. It was really hard to see for us, but certainly we saw a lot of jostling all night tonight. Few cautions. Did it feel like the cars were pretty easy to work your way from the back to the front? Pretty easy that if you felt like maybe the racing was getting a little too risky, a little too scary early on in the race, you could drop to the back to try to reduce some of that risk of getting involved in a wreck?
Yeah, definitely. Nobody was really backing off, to be honest. But if you wanted to get to the front, if you got the right partner, definitely could drive up there and start tandeming your way up to the front.
We saw a couple drivers throughout some of the cautions elect to stay out in front and not come in for pits. Did you feel like tires were making a big enough advantage that they were worth taking at times that allowed you a little maneuverability, or did track position seem to be much more key to tonight's finish?
Definitely when involving the tires, I would definitely say at the end, if you didn't take tires in that race yet, you definitely would have some different disadvantage in involving on how your car would handle. That's why I took tires at the end. But yeah, definitely just a difference in grip between old tires and new tires.
All right. Well,
Oh, what
anybody.
was your second question?
Oh no, you're fine. That took care of that all. That was a great answer. That was exactly what I was telling the viewers tonight. That grip was definitely making a difference, allowing those lane changes. We saw some pretty crazy lane changes too. A lot of people jumping from the high side to the low side. Was that just a product of knowing who you trusted and wanting to link up with guys, or were you kind of doing that scene where a lane might have an advantage of momentum and trying to take advantage of that, get in front of that?
Yeah, it was all about taking advantage. Like, for example, with me, when I'm in the middle of the pack, I'm always trying to be on the top because that's where the most opportunities pop up to take the lead or to pass a bunch of people. And even when, I don't know if you saw in the race, but I even decided to go up the track when I was in the lead. I saw momentum building up on the top. I went up to the top to stop the momentum. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but it was definitely the top was where it was at.
Certainly a great job tonight navigating the minefield that was out there, bringing home in a third place. Everybody would probably take that as a great day on a super speedway. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or a big thank you to before we let you go for the evening?
I gotta thank Crazy Dog T-shirts for sponsoring the car, obviously, and sponsoring the league. I gotta thank Stubbies as well, as they are another sponsor of the league. Bronx Community College, my family at home, the girlfriend, and the league owner James Harris for putting on the show tonight.
Well, congratulations on another podium finish. Look forward to seeing you back in action next week.
And you actually see me Thursday.
All right, that was your second place or third place finisher, the driver of the 77 Crazy Dog T-shirts, Brian Lorenzo. We're gonna bring in our second place finisher, Craig Janzik. Craig Janzik, our second place finisher tonight. Looks like a little bit of tough luck out there. You got yourself in position on the white flag to take control of that inside line. It looked like James Harris just had a little bit of momentum coming there out of the tri-oval. What'd you see out of your view at that closing stage of the race?
Yeah, it's just about exactly that. Leading any one of these lanes at the end of these things, especially at Talladega, it's a little different at Daytona because Talladega is so much wider, but you really just don't want to be leading when it comes down to the end here. And, when I saw James coming out of on the last lap there, he and Lorenzo had the momentum. They were doing everything right there in that moment. And if I went up to block James, he was just going to go higher. Then I was going to get sucked through the middle and finish probably sixth or seventh or been in that wreck. So, second's a lot better than you know any single digit finish is better than a double digit finish. So we'll take that, and we will again, there's nothing I could have done. They did it perfect, and you know Holden didn't have a lot of help, so there was really not much that could have went better there. I wish that James and I on right after the restart, I wish James and I got clear so that we could have both cleared down in front of Holden, and then I would have only had to block one line. But yeah, it doesn't work that way sometimes, and that's fine.
Yeah, we saw momentum coming from all different directions tonight. It seemed like you liked to, when you could, get yourself down to leading that inside line. Did you just feel a little more comfortable with that line compared to the middle or the outside line? Or was it just a plan to hook up with certain drivers that may have been in that position at the time?
So I think a lot of plate racing is being around people that you can trust to give you the right pushes, and that really is like mantra number one for me coming to plate tracks. It's really important for me to work with people that I can trust because I know that I know that I do send it just about anywhere whenever I want, and I know that I got to have people that are going to also be willing to do that with me. So that's probably why you saw a lot of the same people attached to either side of my bumper, and I take a lot of value in that. And being able to do those kinds of things means a lot to me. It says a lot about the other drivers too. So I like to. I really wish that we could have gotten a little bit more strung out because I know that the high line would have been more dominant. But um, people don't want to kind of just ride around in races like that, and neither do I really. So it was good to be able to put on a great show. I took four tires on that one pit stop intentionally so that I can see what passing was like, and it was actually really fun to kind of work your way up through there. And the Freeburn Hot Wings Morning Show Supra was a good enough car that we went from 10th to I think first in a matter of a lap and a half. So yeah, it's this package is really fun right now, and everybody that wants to do a fun race should probably be exploring this as one of their possibilities. It's a blast.
Well, you certainly highlighted what I was actually going to ask you. A combination of both pit strategy, but it seemed like nobody was immune from getting involved in a wreck tonight. I think we saw almost every driver involved in one wreck at some point in time. So everybody kind of had to have that back to front moment at some point in the race. How easy did you feel like it was to navigate the car, both with the draft and the aero, as well as the mechanical grip of the setup, being able to change lanes? Did you feel like that was pretty easy to do on command on fresh tires, or did you have a little bit of reservations about it based on the balance of the car?
Yeah, the balance was good, so you can really, I mean, you could have stuck this anywhere you wanted it to, and it would have worked. The passing was not a problem when you had the right momentum and the right people with you. So, um, the back to front stuff, I would imagine, like you said, just about every driver experienced, and there's no shame in that. When you come to a play track, you kind of expect to get junked at least once, and that did happen. I almost escaped without any damage, but there was a little bit of Jennifer Joe Cobb action coming in through the field there, and that's fine. So we had to. I guess you're right. I guess I did have to come through twice, and it's super fun to be able to do that with this package, this car. You can really just turn wherever you want. It kind of just goes. But blocking's not very easy because you're just going to get sent through the middle because Talladega is so wide. So yes, it's available on command, but it was also having to be a little bit tactical and intelligent about it too.
Well, you certainly made a great job, like you said, coming through the field twice, bringing it home in second place, a great finish. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or a thank you to before we let you go celebrate that second place finish tonight?
Yeah, gotta thank Crazy Dog T-shirts for their league sponsorship here. I think we got a 3 or 4 cars with their logos all over them, so it shows that they're invested in us, and I'm glad that we could put on a good show for them. Thanks to the viewers out there, and you guys for the broadcast, and thanks again to the Freeburn Hot Wings morning show for being on the car for me here this week and many weeks to come. And I think that's all I got, man.
Well, congratulations on a great second place finish on what can be a very tough track at times to navigate some of the unlucky minefields. So congratulations on that. We look forward to seeing you back here in future races in the series.
Yes, sir. Talk to you next week.
That was your second place finish, your driver of the 02 Toyota Supra, Craig Janzik. We are going to bring in the man of the hour, the one that made it happen, Mr. James Harris. First time I get to speak with James Harris in this season as the race winner. James, that was probably one of the craziest finishes we saw there coming to the checkered flag. Tell me what you saw and what you were feeling as you were approaching the tri-oval and the start finish line there on that last lap.
Man, that was nuts. I knew I had the momentum off of 4 because Brian come up behind me on the backstretch and just didn't get off my bumper. And I know that high side all race has been good off the corner, but I didn't think I would get that good of a run. And then I saw Craig coming back a little bit. And I think we slapped sides a little bit, and then I crossed that finish line. Man, I actually yelled out. I hope I didn't wake my son up.
That was definitely one of the most exciting finishes we've seen for this season. We know sometimes some drivers have talked about pushing. It can be very tough to do a consistent push just because of the kind of shape of these Xfinity Series cars, especially with the Toyota Supra. It looked like Lorenzo did a really good job locking on the back of you. Did you ever feel like you were concerned with the shove that he was giving you, or did it feel pretty comfortable for you when you were trying to work there on that last lap?
He had one hell of a run of steam when he was coming up to me because I had lost my draft partner. I think Austin Hable kind of blinked out. So I was expecting a big bump because sometimes if they're coming up pretty fast, it can give you a good bump and jar your steering wheel. If you're not ready for it, it'll spin you out. But I don't know what the deal was. I don't know if he just hit me just dead center. But when he hit me, I didn't feel anything at all in my wheels. So and that just linked us up perfectly to get a good head of steam.
Well, that certainly proved to be one of the race winning moves. You were also, like almost every single driver in this field, involved in a wreck at some point in time tonight, sent to the back, had to work your way back through. Tell me what your strategy was trying to pick your way through the field and get yourself back up to the front to position yourself for the race win tonight.
Well, I gotta say, here lately, for some reason, I've been real conservative in most of my leagues, and I decided here lately I'm just gonna ramp it up and start being aggressive again, like I used to be. Before I would just race on the bottom line and hope I get a hole and go in it, but tonight I decided I'm gonna go 3 wide whenever I could to try to make some moves, and it looked, from what I could tell, like it worked most of the time. I was able to pretty much run up to the front whenever I wanted to, and I think the aggressiveness paid off today.
Yeah, it certainly looked like it. And again, you navigated the minefield, came home with a win, so can't fault you much at all for what you did. Anybody you want to send a shout out to tonight or give a big thank you to before we let you go celebrate your first victory of the season?
Uh, yeah, before I thank the sponsors, I got to thank Brian. I've raced with Brian for a couple years now. He's young, and he's got a good talent. He's got the talent to go somewhere in our racing. But I got to thank him for pushing me to that win. I want to thank Crazy Dog T-shirts for being the sponsor of our league, and also Subbies Deli for sponsoring, co-sponsoring our league and being a sponsor of my race car. I eat there probably 2 or 3 times a week, and Keith, the owner's one heck of a guy. His family runs the place, and it's an amazing family. So I want to thank all those guys, and then my wife for allowing me to do all this.
Well, we're certainly glad to have Subbies on board with us for the remainder of the season. And congratulations again on a great performance, great win. Everybody put on a great show tonight. It definitely did not disappoint at all. And look forward to seeing you maybe get you back up here for another race win before too long.
Yeah, man. Next week is probably my second favorite track, so I'm looking forward to next
Uh,
week's race.
There we go. Let's see what the momentum brings. Looking forward to have you back next week here.
Right, man. Thanks.
All right, that is going to do it for tonight's event. We are going to get a quick rundown of the results. Again, your race winner, number 55, driver of the Subbies Toyota Super, James Harris. Craig Jancic bringing it home in second, and Brian Lorenzo, 77, bringing it home in third. Kyle Holden was able to pull off a fourth place finish. Justin Gainham was able to rebound and gets himself up into fifth place. Robert Wynn, sixth. Austin Hable, seventh. Those are two names that are seeing great finishes out of what has been a little bit of less than stellar season for them, maybe. Tyler Meeks, eighth. Zachary Thornton bringing home in ninth, and William Mann Jr. rounding out your top 10. You can see next few drivers there, and we will get you to the bottom. So you see, unfortunately, Kevin Ward, Topher, Baltimore, Ian Ogden, and William Mann falling victim to Talladega in tonight's event. Again, my name is Jacob Feskian. On behalf of Team Goon Squad, bringing you another round of the Crazy Dog T-Shirts Xfinity Series, presented also by Subbies. We look forward to having you back here, same place, same time next week, and we wish you a good upcoming week. Hope to see you back soon. Thanks for watching.